from the City of Hampton Solid Waste Division. Today we're going to be talking about the automated refuse truck with the rapid rail collection arm. This specific vehicle we have behind us is a Class A license required vehicle. So for additional training on that, refer to the Virginia DMV CDL manual and the previous video that we've made on how to properly inspect a Class A vehicle. From here, we'll move forward to the specifics of the collection arm. All right, so first thing we're gonna do when we're looking at our rapid rail arm assembly here, we're gonna go through the grabber and we're gonna look at all the connection points and make sure all the bolts are in place. We're looking at our straps, making sure our straps are attached, because this is actually what grabs the can and collects the container. All right, so you're making sure they're properly attached to the vehicle, looking at all your pins, all your lube points. Also on the back side, which Mark will come around in a minute, there's a proxy switch you have to check to make sure that it's there and hooked up. All right, so this is what I was talking about. This is the proxy switch here that lets the truck know when the grabber is all the way open or all the way closed. So you gotta make sure that the bottom of this is cleaned off because they are magnetic and that it's fully attached. You'll know because you will get an alarm inside the cab letting you know that one of your proxy switches are not properly working. Obviously, we extended the arm out a little bit for ease of inspection. So on the back side, just like any other hydraulic type of solenoid, you're looking at making sure the both connection points are in place. You're looking at your hydraulic hoses coming to them, making sure that they're tightened, that there's no apparent leaks. Looking at your hoses again, making sure that there's no dry rot on them, no bulges, no excessive type of cracks or any type of damage to these hoses. All right, the arm's not extended all the way out, but on your slide rail, you're looking to make sure that it's got enough grease and it's lubricated, and you want to look down inside at the rollers, making sure that the rollers inside are touching, but they're not broken, they're not dragging, that there's no flat spots, because the rollers actually slide on this plate, and that's what allows the arm to come in and out. Right here is one of the rollers that I was referring to. When you're checking it, you want to make sure that it freely spins and that it's lubricated, no damage to it, and that there's no flat spots or anything like that. There's also grease spots on the top of each of them, and down the side there's 3 of these rollers on the right side and 3 of them that are over here on the left side as well. And then farther back, if you extend the arm out, which we will later, you see a lot, there's larger rollers down on the bottom as well. You would do the inspection for the same on those. On this front side, you see another proxy switch right here. Just like the other one, you need to make sure that this connection right here is clean, that there's no grease or debris, because this is magnetic and it's reading between this piece of metal and this switch right here. I want to show you one of the safety features for this when you're driving down the road, not on your collection route. The arm chain, you place it through the link as tight as it'll go. And this is what this is going to do, is prevent the arm when you're traveling from being able to extend out while you're traveling down the road. It keeps the arm locked in place. All right, now we're on the other side of the truck, away from the grabber. On the back side here, some of your major inspection points. This is what we refer to as the tombstone, just because of the look at it. What you're looking for here is right in the middle of this bar. You want to make sure that the washer and the nut are tightened on here. If not, when the arm extends back, it'll shoot all the way through and obviously come apart. You also have a couple more proxy switches on this other side that you're looking at. The 2 right here, just like the other ones, they're magnetic. You need to make sure that they're clean on both surfaces, because they do catch on these, read these cam rollers. The cam rollers are what controls the arm, how far up it goes and dumps into the hopper. As you're following down, you're checking your wires, electrical wires, but then again, you're going back to all your different hydraulic connections and verifying that each of these, again, no cuts, no leaks, no excessive dry rot, anything that you would check on a normal rubber hydraulic hose. And then the last 2 proxy switches that we're looking at on the arm are going to be this one here and then one a little more forward, and that controls the in and out of the arm, how far, when it lets it know it's going out too far or coming back in, where to stop. So just like the other ones, checking for cleanliness on them, making sure that they're making a good magnetic contact. If not, it will give off the alarm inside that I'll show you later on. I'll extend it out and give you that alarm. From here, we're just going to look at the basic hopper. All right, All the vehicles we have now are equipped with stairs coming up to the hopper, attached on the side of the hydraulic tank, and then 2 on the hopper with the handle. The newer vehicles that we're getting coming in are not going to have these, so there will be no access to the hopper on these newer type vehicles. On the back side, we have a handle. What this does is there's a flap on the top of the hopper that when you're full and loaded and traveling down the road, you're supposed to take this flap, push it all the way up, and what that does is it closes the flap on top, as you can see it moving, and it holds the trash in so that the wind and stuff won't blow any type of trash out. These vehicles are equipped with the blue DEF tank located right here. There's a gauge on the dash that lets you know your level, just as in your fuel tank. So this is where your DEF goes. You need to ensure that this stays full at all times. These vehicles have a trailer hookup control box for your service and emergency lines, for your electrical, for your rear camera, and your hydraulic lines. They're very simple as far as they can only be hooked into one place, with the exception of your service and your emergency. You need to make sure it's blue to blue and red to red. These should always be hooked up prior to you, but that's something you definitely want to check to make sure that each one is tight and secure. All right, just like your Class A vehicles, you have your 5th wheel and kingpin assembly here. For more information on this, obviously refer to the CDL manual or the Class A video. The one thing that is very important, making sure your locking pin handle is in, which keeps the 5th wheel and kingpin locked in place. All right, 2 of your safety alarms I'm going to refer to. They're called whisker switches. This one is for your body. When your body is up, obviously the switch would be pushed forward, and it would give you an audible alarm inside the cab and outside that your body is up. So if you're ever receiving that alarm, this is one thing you need to check to make sure that your switch is reset. All right, the second whisker switch is located on the back where the tailgate opens. If your tailgate is not completely closed and the lock engaged, this whisker switch would be down like such. And if that is the case, then you're going to receive an alarm just like you would on the front one. So you need to make sure that when this is closed and locked, if you're receiving that alarm, you need to check this switch and make sure it is above the switch contact point. All right, on the back side, of course, all your lights, you would check them in accordance with a CDL inspection. These are also equipped with 2 additional lights for reverse. They only come on when the vehicle's in reverse. And then your strobe light. For each of these vehicles may be wired a little differently with the strobe. Some only come on when the PTO pump is on, or some come on when the headlights are turned on. So you need to check and make sure. There's also, this vehicle's equipped with the rear backup camera, so you need to check the wiring on that, make sure that it's properly mounted, and also make sure that the lens is cleaned off. All right, on the other side where you have your tailgate lock and alarm with the whisker switch, on this side you have a little red flag that you can see from inside the cab. So when you're sitting there, you can watch it lock, and when this is in place and you can see it from the mirror, you'll know that it's positively locked. However, always a good idea to get out and visually check this every time to make sure that it's properly secured and locked in place before driving down the road. All right, on the majority of these vehicles, the fire extinguisher is located on the outside. They have mounts built into the trailer. So just like any other safety check on a fire extinguisher, you would check them, making sure they're within the authorized area, but also making sure that it's properly fixed and not going to come out of the trailer. The cards for these should be located in with the safety check booklet and all the other information that's in the packet inside the cab of the vehicle. Another important part to check is your landing gear. With this, you want to make sure that it is fully in the upright position. All right, you notice that it can come up and down. You want to make sure it's all the way up, but also that your handle is fully stowed and locked in the position so that it doesn't fly open maybe while you're driving down the road. If you notice how the truck is parked in a straight line with the tractor and the trailer, this is a proper positioning for collection. You could also have the tractor a little bit maybe to the left, but what you don't want is you don't want it turned to the right into the curb. When that happens, your grabber arm strikes on part of the body up here where you can see some of the scrapes and minor visual damage. And you will hear it hit, and there could be times where you're turned so far, it'll hit and catch and it will not collect. If that happens, you need to make sure you put the can down, straighten out your truck for proper collection. All right, these vehicles are equipped with the battery switch. You see it right here. Straight up and down means the batteries are on and connected, engaged. When you turn it side to side, it means the batteries are off. This is important to check because you're supposed to turn the batteries off at the end of your day due to the fact that drive cams could pull all the juice out of the batteries, and then you're gonna have a dead truck. All right, if you are tasked with unhooking the trailer from the tractor ever, and obviously you're making sure the landing gear down, your fifth wheel's disconnected, when you go to unhook all your hoses and cables, there is stowage points right here. This is where you wanna lay them. And when you do that, you also wanna flip your body hydraulic selector valve to off. If you don't do that, there is a chance that you're still gonna be pumping hydraulic fluid out with it being disconnected. All right, this vehicle's, they made it pretty easy for checking your fluids. Your transmission fluid, your oil, your washer fluid is here. Way up top, you have your sight glass for your coolant. But for checking your belts, your alternator, and the other mandatory things for CDL inspection, you actually have to tilt the cab. To do that, there's a handle located inside in the stowage portion. You would pull that out, and pretty much like a jack on your car, all right, you would put it in there, all right, turn it to the up, and just start pumping it as it goes. It's gonna raise your cab and drop it forward. So before you do that, you need to make sure anything you have inside is properly stowed and safely secured. When you're done doing your inspection, flip this back to the down, all right, flip your switch, and it slowly comes back down. If it gets stuck, you're gonna have to manually pump that thing all the way back down. All right, so this is a right-hand drive truck, obviously driving from the right-hand side. Definitely make sure you get specialized or additional training on this. It is a little bit different. So when you're driving, you're constantly looking at your mirrors, making sure that you see the line on the left side, but also your line on the right side, letting you know you're in your lane. Nothing changes. The gas pedals and the brake are still in the same location. The only thing now you got to remember is your gear selector and your parking and trailer parking brake are going to be on your left-hand side, as well as all your controls for the rapid rail arm. All right, to point out, this is your trailer air supply. Again, they're located a little bit differently in every truck. Some of them may be up. If you're in a left-hand drive truck, they may be up on top of the console. And we also have the internationals where they might be on the dash themselves. Your tractor parking brake here, as well as your gear selector right in here. All right, be very careful when messing with these. You don't want to hit one possibly when reaching across. You don't want to hit your arm when reaching for a brake. So it's very important to make sure that you're only trying to operate one thing at a time with this. On the top, this is your joystick control. And then again, you see another box control. Some operators like the box more than the joystick. Joystick is located right here at your left hand, and it is labeled just as the buttons would be. All right, if you push forward, this is going to be to extend the arm out. All right, if you pull to the left, that's going to be the undump motion. Pulling it straight back is going to be the release motion, which opens the arms back up. To the right is going to be the grip, which obviously closes the grabber and grips. You also have a two-way toggle button on top. If you click it on the left, that is going to drag the arm back in, and to the right is going to take your arm up. These may be very important if you're on a curb. You need to raise the arm up a little bit so you don't grab it too low around the wheels. You want to tap your up button to get it to come up. Over in the middle here, you have your control pack, I guess. This is your main PTO button. Once it's lifted up, everything is engaged. You have a couple indicator lights. You have one that talks about a filter change. If this comes on, that lets you know it needs to go to the garage for service. The next one lets you know that your pump is on. So this one should pretty much be illuminated as you're operating. The next one is your body or tailgate up. If you remember, the whisker switches would give you an audible alarm. This also gives you a visual alarm, lets you know that either the body or the tailgate is still up and not in the lock position. The next one deals with your packer. And then you have a left and a right, which lets you know which way your packer is going, if it's to the left and fully to the left or to the right. You also have a transmission temperature light that lets you know if your vehicle is getting too hot, and you'll also receive an indicator on your dash as well. Some of your switches, you have your body and tailgate, your up buttons and down. You're only going to use these obviously if you're going to be at the steam plant or a dump location. However, for either of these to work, this next switch below the packer that says auto or manual, it must be in the manual mode. All right, so you would, if you're at the steam plant and you're backed into the pit, you would place this in the manual mode. You would hit your tailgate up till it goes all the way up, and then your body up, it'll go all the way to the top. Once you're dumping and everything comes out, you want to sweep your packer left and right that lets it go and knock any debris down. From there, you're going to take your body all the way back down, make sure it's locked in place, tailgate all the way back down. Again, at that point, you should have no alarms, and you should be able to see your little red tailgate flag, and then you can switch your packer back into auto mode. All right, your other ones, if you have it in manual mode instead of auto packer, you can manually pack left and right. And then you have a very important button, what's called your coordinator. It's either on or off. Majority of drivers keep this on, and what this does when you're using your joystick, once you go out to the container and you grip it, it'll actually grip it and then pick it up and dump it all in one fluid motion. And then when you go to undump, you press forward to clear the hopper, so out. And when you go to undump, it'll go all the way down, set it on the ground. You hit release, it'll actually ungrip the can and bring it all the way back in to the safe portion of the vehicle. If that coordinator is off though, this will only do one motion at a time. All right. Next, you have your strobe button on here, and then you also have what's called a finesse switch on some of the newer vehicles. What the finesse switch does, it just slows the arm down, tries to get rid of the jerking and the bouncing of the vehicle. If you want it to be a little bit quicker, you can leave it on. The finesse switch off. If you want it to be more of a fluid motion and control things more, you can take that finesse switch and place it on. Mechanics usually use this when they're doing their maintenance because it slows everything down for them. All right, right here in the center is your visual display for your backup camera. You saw the camera on the back. If this ever goes out, some of your main things to check is the connections on the back or the connections on the back of the screen. This is very important, obviously, when dumping at the steam plant or wherever you're going to be, but also when you're just on a tight or busy road, you may want to give that a look whenever you're about to move your vehicle, as well as looking in your mirrors, because that just gives you an extra set of eyes out behind you there. Currently, all of our solid waste vehicles are also equipped with drive cam. This is a third-party system here. It has GPS and the photo ability. So the good thing is supervisors can tell when a truck has been down a specific road for collection, but also if there's any hard brake or hard turns, anything that agitates this module right here over a 15-degree angle inside, it's going to automatically start recording. It records the previous 8 seconds and the 4 seconds after that. The green light just means it's powered. If this light goes to red, it means it's downloading. If it is flashing between green and red, it means it's recording. Also, if there's an incident that you need to capture, somebody cuts you off, you see an incident happening, a container not out, a violation you want to report, you can press and hold this blue button for up to 5 seconds, and it'll automatically record and capture whatever it is that you're trying to send in. All right, so this will conclude our basic overview walk around of the Class A automated truck with the rapid rail assembly. By no means is this all inclusive. For additional training, you need to refer to the operator's manual, the CDL manual for a Class A vehicle, any videos, but also the training package and curriculum that has been devised for this particular system. All right, so now we're going to go through the proper procedure of collecting the containers and container placement. All right, so on your placement, where you're trying to stop is you want this portion of the hinge point in the dead center of the can. So So a couple ways to do that when you're looking out your mirrors or out your side window. If you look at these two castle nuts, you want them right in the dead center. Or another way, when you're looking at the arm, you want it approximately a foot clearance between the edge of that and the can. So whatever works best for you for proper clearance and distance. And when you're going, you don't want to have the arm right up against the can so it's like such. When you do that and you grip it, you're going to hit the can back. So you want to have about 6 to 8 inches here. When the arms reach around the container, it'll grab it fully and then begin the dump process. All right, so now that we showed proper placement, we're going to go ahead and get back inside the vehicle. Of course, seatbelt on, safety first. Start our vehicle up. If you hear that alarm right there, that lets you know that one of your whisker switches is not making contact. Either the arm is out, it's up, something like that. So at that point, I would want to get out and walk around and look. But I know right now, for training purposes, my arm was left in the out position. Start up my vehicle. Go ahead and re-engage my system power. Put it back in drive, release both of my brakes. And now for collection, since I'm already properly placed, I'm going to press right on the joystick and hold it, which is grip. As I grip it, and because the coordinator is on, it'll bring it all the way in and dump it. At this point, you may want to give the container a shake, so undump to grip. For any material that may be lodged, you could force it out. Push out to clear the hopper. Push left, which is your undump. It'll automatically take it down to the ground. And then pull to the rear, which is release. It'll automatically release and come all the way back into the set position. From there, you want to make sure that no vehicles have tried to come around you, cut you off, and then you can pull up to your next container. Again, pull up, check your proper placement. Same process, grip it. It'll bring all the way up and dump it. Give it a shake, out to clear your hopper, undump down, and then it completely releases it. And this is the same process for anywhere from 800 to about 1,200 cans a day. All right, so before we close out, we want to reemphasize that this video was done in this collection in an ideal situation, a closed off parking lot here, no vehicles around. We know in reality, you're gonna be out collecting in neighborhoods. You're gonna have cars trying to get around you. You're gonna have multiple containers right against each other, bulk piles, basketball hoops, mailboxes, vehicles, any type of situations like this. Remember, you are 100% accountable and responsible for your actions with this truck. If you do not feel safe or comfortable, you can always get out of the vehicle, move the container to a better location to collect it, or you can call it in to Solid Waste Dispatch and let them know you're leaving it and why you're leaving it. All right, so today we went through a brief overview of the Class A automated truck with the rapid rail arm. Again, this is a brief introductory video. For advanced or in-depth information, you have the operator's manual, the Virginia DMV CDL manual, Class A CDL videos. Talk to the supervisors in charge of this collection process, but you got to remember safety first. Never do you want to place yourself or this vehicle in a situation where you're going to be liable for any type of damage or injury. With that, thank you and have a great day.